go. The guy's gone. I'm not seeing go F off. But yeah, just the fact that, hey, we're gonna. Also, the fact that, you know, the idea of Square effing Enix, Mr. People who love to brag about their graphics, basically trying to boast about their new game by going, this is what you need for 30 FPS. Let alone the idea of needing an effing 40 series card on PC to play Forspoken. You need you just need quite literally the highest graphics card. Why? Probably to compensate for bad performance. I mean, because our game is that advanced. And it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, hell, it's like another issue with different PC port. Stranger Paradise's PC port that's still Epic Game Store exclusive, where the hair of the characters causes the game to lag.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't recall any fucking Strangers of Paradise for PC.
It's on Epic Game Store, so it basically doesn't exist.
Pretty much.
Basically doesn't exist. But that game has an issue on PC where literally the character's hair literally causes the game to lag. To the point where someone made a mod to fix this, and the mod just literally makes every character in the game bold. And it actually fixed the frame rate issue. Hell, I just recently found out that apparently in Bayonetta 3, wearing the Bayonetta 1 outfit causes the cutscenes to lag.
Fucking
Not only lag, it apparently can also desync the audio cutscene. I said that backwards. Cutscene audio. It's on top of the fact that, you know how Bayonetta glows red when she uses Demon Slave?
Yeah.
They did not put that on the Bear 1 and Bear 2 outfits. She also does not lose clothing when the Bear 1 and Bear 2 outfits, like how she does using Wicked Weaves and Demon Slave in her Bear 3 outfits. Also, there is also a texture missing on her butt cheek in her Bear 2 outfit.
Nice.
Meaning they did not think about what person played through the game with the Bell 1 and Bell 2 outfits, despite having them in the game as a bonus. As a bonus, he had to save data. That is so dumb. Hey, look over there. There's still one left. Shit, Tatsu's trying to sink the ship. Get on that sub and get out of here. Is that you, Tatsu? You don't have a learner's permit. You can't drive that thing. It's dangerous. Idiot, what are you babbling about? Get your ass over here. Who you calling an idiot? Looks like we're almost there. So this must be the Undersea ruins. No one's here now. Toss him to go inside. He must have done this. What a punk. It's not Prof. He's smart as well. He's stored their only way out. He's got some mad skills. Say, these ruins appeared because of rumors too, or it's always been here. I know it's real or not anymore. So, I can feel it. Kondori is here. Young boy, dangerous man. Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm sure it'll be fine, Nanjo. How dangerous can Kondori really be?
We'll see.
Who's ready for what I believe to be the most hated dungeon in all of Persona?
In all
Of Persona, yes.
Wow, that is a strong statement.
Yes. Is it really? Oh, I went backwards. I mean, is it? How often do people say about blank is the worst dungeon in Persona?
Huh.
Oh, they just gave magic holy. Shoot up. Use the antidote. Alright, we're all good. Yeah, shown by other. Oh my god, more of these things. Oh my god, I literally do not want to bother with these things. Yeah, these are examples of quote-unquote PC ports of quote-unquote next-gen video games. Boy, is gaming effed. And the fact that people want to hype this up as well. Igor, you just in here? you just in here as Undersea ruins? What, just chilling?
He's everywhere.
Just chilling? Vibing Undersea ruins? We're gonna start Persona here. We just used that and we're invincible. It's not that easy. The Ten-Tail Lao affair was suspected there was lots of cash going from the monster to Mr. Justice, then Tatsuzo. Slugger was investigating that and they tried to kill him in an accident, and ended up killing his partner Sai-san. I would imagine that Slugger's persona awakened then, and only he was saved, and that might be why he hates personas. His palpitation, as if I'd gone back 3 years ago. Is there a part of me that hasn't shades? Miki, the one who killed you is dead. Just wait, there's only one more left. One single fish. Watch out, guys, we got a badass over here. What's this one fish gonna do? And before he just somehow annihilates us. Doesn't seem to be doing much. Okay, he's still alive. It's Okay. Okay, now he's dead. Oh, not so bad. Ain't that one whole single enemy? That one's so bad, game. Don't know why that's indicated different in the wall. Whatever. Let's see. This is. Nope. Let's go back up. Find a different route.
年季の違いを教えてやる。言い訳なら書で聞こう。
Yeah, video games are if and people. So yeah, you also have but the Gotham Knights thing. You also have the big debate that mentioned what's our Gotham Knight, which is the debate of is it even okay anymore to live in a world where companies still release video games at 30 FPS?
Oh my god.
No.
Bro, come on.
Basically, the idea being, if you have this powerful new oh, this means it. What? I thought it's immune. Oh, I guess it just resists magic. Where we're doing weak damage. Basically, basically, it's the idea that because console people, most games on console, at least for prior generations, were in 30 FPS. Now that they got that taste of what PC players have had, they basically want that to be the new standard, and anything that cannot meet that might as well basically seen as a failure, and is basically just basically not using the power of these brand spanking new quote unquote super ultra powerful consoles. So there are some people, so that's why Gotham Knights was revealed to only be 30 FPS on consoles, while also being a game that doesn't look more graphically intense than Arkham Knight. Then people basically went, "Wow, this is just basically a down. It's just basically just nothing but there's basically no upsides." So it's basically people going, "I paid money for this big console. They're coming away from me. I should put an end to your ambition once and for all." Pretty much, it's really the idea of paying money for his big new console. Companies trying to hype up. We're gonna do super cool things with graphics and frame rate, and they're not doing it. Or the idea of freaking, as I mentioned, people's standards have raised. Which is also funny if you take into account that people are basically going like this because they got a taste of what PC have had, even though PC is well to the point where there are PC players who are like, "Oh, your game can't do 120 FPS. What the? Your game's basically a failure." But you know, that's a very small amount of people because Steam always pulls people based on their PC hardware every year, which is why I said most people on PC still use GTX. Like, most people basically still use a graphics card that's worse than the one I have. Like, you having a 30 series makes you a minority in the PC space.
Wow.
Because despite what people think, everyone's spending money on big. No, they don't. They effing don't. They don't. Most people do not throw about big money every like year for the newest GPU or CPU or whatever. They don't. You're not given a taste of why people hate this place. You've not been given a sample of people's hatred of the Undersea ruins. Do you get it now? Do you see the problems?
I guess.
It's one giant maze with fake floors that requires you to go in a certain way in order to reach the boss room. So you saw how the game blatantly tried to basically literally baited me into basically falling into a trap that just said that just sets me back.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to find a different way to get there.
文句はないな。
And this place is gonna be filled with trap floors, and you already know what's trap floor, what's not gonna be. Because now as if trap floors look different, they basically look the effing same as everything else. Also, something I really don't want to hear from Switch fans at all are Switch fans who are upset at Steam Deck fans who are basically boasting how much more powerful and how the portability and powerful. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm starting to see it now.
Oh my god.
Also, are we really comparing the Steam Deck with Switch?
Yes, because a lot of people do. I told you, there was an article that complained about the Steam Deck, saying, what's the point of the Steam Deck if the Steam Deck doesn't have exclusive video games, even though it clearly has the PC library, which means you have the PC exclusive games on PC that are available on the Steam Deck. But basically, when the Steam doesn't have exclusives like the Switch, what's the point? For other way around, is people who are like, if the Switch isn't as powerful as a Steam Deck, then it's basic that it's not as powerful as Steam Deck, that it basically fails as a portable system, and you're better off just emulating Switch games on the Steam Deck because they'll play and run better. Like, there are people who are literally looking down at the Metro Prime remaster because you can basically get better performance by emulating the games on emulator on the Steam Deck. There are people out there who go out, purchase a copy of a Switch game, just to never actually play the game on Switch, and instead play it on emulator via the Steam Deck. Like, some ordinary gamer keeps getting flack whenever he shows himself playing a newly released Switch game on a Steam Deck, because they're like, you awful scumbag, why are you emulating? He's like, I buy the games, I just don't actually play them on the Switch. Because he knows they're not going to run well on Switch, so he's going to play them on a Steam Deck, where it's going to play better. Hell, it's like when I remember Xenoblade 3 came out, and there were people saying Xenoblade 3 is a great game, but that it's on the wrong system because the Switch is holding back the game's performance. So yes, there are in fact Steam Deck snobs. But I also am pointing out the fact that Switch fans getting mad at this are stupid because Switch fans are snob and boast about if a game's not portable, then why that it shouldn't exist. Which is why the idea of Switch fans being pissed off is the most popcorn kettle black thing. It's like people, as someone rightfully said, Switch fans are just Vita fans. Vita fans basically went, my platform is better because it's because it can play some new released games and indies, and it's portable. And that's basically how Switch fans act. No one brags about the Switch for being a home TV console. They brag about it because it's portable. and nothing else. And the Steam Deck is basically just a more portable PC that you can basically do all the other PC things do, including emulation. So there are people who prefer to just play Switch games on a Steam Deck. Hell, I remember seeing a person, people who did a playthrough of SMT5, but they played the game on the Yuzu emulator for their live streams for better performance. So yeah, this is the thing people do. There are freaking Steam Deck snobs, just as there are also Switch snobs. There are snobs for everything. Everyone's a snob in their own way. Yes, some people, the performance is what matters. Why people, keep going, when's the Switch 2? When's the Switch 2? Or the Switch Pro? Because they're now getting annoyed at the fact that games run poorly on the Switch. It's also why people are upset at the idea of Tears of the Kingdom being $70, because the idea of it's gonna be this game that is gonna run terribly because Breath of the Wild runs terribly is also gonna charge more for it.
後悔先に立たずだったな。
How, despite people going, frame rate doesn't matter, portability does, and yet there are still games they won't play on the Switch. Like, for example, freaking Age of Calamity is a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and yet people won't play it because that game's performance is completely awful. So clearly, Switch fans have a limit of performance they want to deal with. Hell, when Doom 2016 came out on Switch, the Switch version came out years after the other versions. And despite coming out, it came out, the Switch version came out costing $60 during a time period where you could buy Doom 2016 for $5.
Oof.
On every other platform. And Switch fans defended it. Because it's portable, so that makes it the best version. And it's like, you are on something. Some people, portability is the only thing that matters, so for them, performance doesn't matter. Even to the point, remember, there are people who actually get mad at the idea of people who care about performance in a video game. Just like there's people who get mad at people who care about gameplay in a video game and say that gameplay doesn't matter. There's constant debates of people going, gameplay doesn't matter, only the story does, and why you care about gameplay. Saying that you're looking at video games wrong, you care about gameplay. That's why I meant.
Accomplish anything? Why do people go out of their way to do this? I don't get it.
Basically, they want companies to basically freaking do things their way.
Oh, so cry until something happens. Got it.
I mean, look at for example, Persona 5. If there are people who basically wanted Persona 5 to have less RPG combat, shorter dungeons, and less dungeons in the game, because to them, the actual RPG part of Persona 5 is in the way of their social sim video game. This is doing the gameplay part of the game is an inconvenience for them. Just like other people who say the social sim aspects are an inconvenience to them. And then what matters is the RPG aspects. I mean, look at something like Stranger of Paradise. Stranger of Paradise has great gameplay, But there are some people who basically write it off as a Final Fantasy title because while its story is good, the storytelling, however, is god awful. Because the story is written a certain way, it can only give you information a certain way, which its way of doing it is god awful. But it has to do it for the sake of how the story is structured. But because of it does its story poorly, people say it's trash. Or stuff people hate because it's wasted, what they feel is wasted effort. An example being Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has an early on mechanic stating that the state of the flame clock will increase or decrease the character stats, so you're basically incentivized to kill every enemy you see to keep the flame clock on, right?
Yeah.
That's an entire mechanic. After an hour of gameplay, that mechanic is gone. It was there for the story and nothing else. And once the story said you are no longer tied to a flame clock, the mechanic gone. Get rid of it. So there are some games that focus so hard on story that I don't want to do stuff like that. Whereas here's a whole mechanic just cause the story says this is a thing. And look at also in inverse Devil May Cry. An example being Devil May Cry 3. In the cutscene of Mission 1, Dante can be seen surfing on an enemy, and that's an actual mechanic you can do in the game. It's not very useful, but hey, Dante did it in the cutscene, so the player should be able to do it. There's the whole idea of, hey, we're gonna show this thing in the story, then the player should be able to do it in gameplay. Otherwise, what's the point? Even if for some companies go through the most minuscule details. So for example, there's some people who feel like story is the only thing that matters that matters in a video game. It's why there's people who get mad when a video game doesn't have a press one button to win feature, because they don't care about the actual gameplay. They just want the story. Like there was an infamous video about Hollow Knight, where not about Hollow Knight, but about I think it was Hollow Knight. Anyway, Hollow Knight has a difficulty, and so there's people complaining, being like, Hollow Knight. How many articles do we see of people saying a game is quote unquote unaccessible because of difficulty?
Too many.
And basically, there are people who are like that. There are people who are like, From Software are bad developers because there's no easy mode for the Souls games. Meanwhile, look at Fire Emblem, which ended up having a freaking can't remember the new mode, but it has classic mode and another mode where your units don't actually die if they die in a fight. But classic mode is meant to be how Fire Emblem used to be. And there are some people who, when that feature first got announced, Fire Emblem fans were upset by the idea of a mode where your units don't die if you F up. Which is ironic for a fan base that's known for freaking instantly resetting and redoing entire chapters if one character dies. So what's the problem? It's literally just saving you time at that point. You're gonna reset anyway. The issue then comes when you have more newer entries. Like, let's say, for example, where Fire Emblem Echoes, Three Houses, and Engage have a problem where they went as far as to add the ability to immediately rewind your turn.
言い訳なら書で聞こ
That's a problem.
Yes. The issue becomes, here, Armando, if you're making a game where the player can at any point immediately rewind their turn, right?
Yeah.
Does this mean you're allowed to be lazy with game design?
I suppose.
And that's a problem. And then basically it allows a tons of systems to just slack off in terms of actual map design or strategy in Three Houses, and especially Fire Emblem Engage. I told you how I hate how Engage will just barrage you with enemies and go, oh, just use the emblem rings, or just rewind. Because that's no actual strategy. You're not thinking, you're not planning. You're basically just got given the free abilities to just save scum over and over. Like, look what I'm doing right now. I'm just safe scumming an entire dungeon because actually trying to just do it in one go is annoying because of trap floors. Like comes the idea of I'm not actually really thinking or doing much strategy or thinking. I'm just basically going, oh, freaking basically hit that load save state button because something bad happened. Which basically means developers can just do whatever they want. It's why freaking Engage has some very awful map design, but who cares? A player can just freaking use an emblem ring, or they can just freaking use a time crystal. Hell, Three Houses is infamous for the fact that maddening difficulty is god awful in Three Houses, but who cares? A player could just use Divine Pulse anyway. It's basically the idea of you can just slack off and do whatever because, well, we're not bothered. We gave the player the ability to just rewind if something bad happens, and it basically just creates freaking just creates problems. Like I like Fire Emblem Engage, but Fire Emblem Engage is a strategy game where I say there is no strategy. You don't have to think or do anything, just use the emblem rings. Or it's just used to span the time crystal. The fact that time crystal has infinite uses on normal mode basically says a lot about their thought process on making the maps. Only hard and maddening actually caps how many times you can use a time crystal. Three Houses had a cap, but they give you so many divine pulse charges that it basically didn't matter because you always had so many. And that's on top of the emergency use the Sword of the Creator button.
言い訳なら書で聞こ
I think Fire Emblem Echoes, I'm not sure Echoes or Fates, but one of them went as far as to have a Phoenix mode. So on top of Classic and whatever the new one, Casual, Classic and Casual, you had Phoenix, where if a character died, they would immediately be revived on the spot. Basically, it meant failing a map was impossible.
伝記の違いを教えてやる
Which for that's an option, so that's fine. But just building into your game the ability to rewind, that means you only gotta try.
やれやれだな
Which is such awful design idea. It's why there's people out there who will complain if a game's way too easy, and I can understand that. But when it comes to that, people always go that you shouldn't be allowed to complain if a game's too easy because quote unquote a game being too easy isn't a problem compared to a game being quote unquote too hard. Example is freaking Kirby Epic Yarn. When that game came out, people effing bashed it for being way too easy and basically not requiring much effort. To which some people prefer it that way and basically see pretty much the idea that a game being too easy is fine, but if a game is difficult, then that's a quote unquote design flaw. And look at Persona 5 Royal. Those games are the easiest, like some of the easy, basically super easy. And yet there are people who will be offended at the idea of you calling it easy because they struggled on it, even though the game's super easy and basically does most of the work for you. And it's like at some point, the player's just not putting any effort. Then you have the weird paradox where there are people, where there are games that will have a easy and very easy mode, but people will just refuse to use them out of pride. And there are people who will think Persona 5 is hard, but then they won't use the very easy mode because pride. And it's like clearly you don't care much about your pride at all. Holy hell. Like Undersea ruins.
Nice dungeon.
Don't you love it? Yeah, but that's the whole gameplay versus story debate. That's a thing people have where it's like the story should be the most important thing, and everything else should come second to it because people only care about the narrative, not actually playing the game. But those same people, if you tell them why not just basically watch a video, they get offended at the idea. Or it's I don't want to play this game. Then no, don't play the game. How dare you say I shouldn't play the game? What? Hell, Cuphead had this controversy where it was branded as being too difficult. And people like, then why are you playing the game? It's like, but I want to see the animations. It's like, why don't you just let them up? And they took offense. People took offense to that. They were like, how dare you say I just look it up? And it's like, well, you don't want to play the game, so then just look up the animations. That's what you want. That's clearly what you're after. But it's like, nah, how dare you? How dare you sit in the way that I don't want to play this game that I clearly don't want to play? Yeah, it's like how I mentioned freaking Fire Emblem Engage before the game came out. People were basically talking about reviews where reviewers said that Engage had good gameplay but a bad story. And yeah, the story is bad. And then people went the idea of preferring good gameplay over a good story for Fire Emblem is quote unquote is quote unquote backwards logic. And it's like what?
Thought you were gonna say batshit insane.
No, I'm not writing. But yeah, people were saying how it's backwards to care about gameplay in Fire Emblem, and the only thing you should care about is story. And it's like, what the hell? And the person tried to run it back as if they didn't say that, even though that's literally what they said. How there can be hatred on the design philosophy of how a game tells its narrative. Look at mainline SMT compared to Persona, where there are people who hate mainline SMT how it does narrative because mainline focuses more on the world and necessarily characters or the relationship to the characters. God damn, I fell for the same thing twice. But Persona is more about the characters and their relation to each other, and not necessarily the focus on a big grandiose story. Why do I keep doing the same thing over and over? Keep thinking I can go the same going further. So that's why there are some people who say mainline SMT has no plot. It's like it does have a plot. It's the fact that the plot is more about the world and what's going to happen to it than the characters themselves. I mean, there are people who focus on freaking Strange Journey, which is a mainline SMT entry, and being like Strange Journey focused on characters. It did it in the most shallow way to the point where it feels like it's trying to be a parody of mainline SMT. It is the most obvious, here's the chaos person, here's the law person, here's their deals. They don't do much with the characters. That's why the issue of SMT5 is not just the characters are poorly written, it's they're poorly written, and there's nothing else well written in the game at all. There's just no good writing at all, or some will say there's no writing at all in SMT5. Meanwhile, there are people who say SMT3 has no story, even though that's a game of freaking exposition dumps. What do you mean, no story? The game will sit you down and literally emphasize what's going on with the world and how things function. What do you mean there's no story? SMT4 try to have more emphasis on the characters. It failed because the characters in this game, one, they suck, and two, once you get to the big point, the big elite freaking alliance split, the characters basically just become the most dull, one-note thing, which granted, they were already like that from the get-go. That's one complaint people have with Mad SMT that I can agree with. A lot of games, the characters are just mouthpieces for their alignment, and nothing more, which is boring and uninteresting for character writing. I mean, look at freaking Elden Ring. There are people who say Elden Ring has no writing. So it's like, why did it win Best Narrative? It has no writing. It does has writing. It has environmental storytelling. But some people, because it's not a big cutscene telling you everything what's going on, it doesn't count. And it's like, that's a stupid thing to say. That completely counts as storytelling. As people, I want it done specifically my way. Otherwise, it's bad. Hell, look at the people who say that freaking Final Fantasy VII Remake is a quote-unquote perfect blend of action and turn-based. I would say those people are lying to themselves. I think I made an exact tweet that said people who say that the 7 Remake is a perfect mix of action and turn-based are the same people who would say that DMC Devil May Cry plays the exact same as the other entries, which is a complete lie. People like, but it's turn-based because you gotta fill up a meter to do something. It's like, that's I don't know to make it turn-based. It's clearly an action game first and foremost. You're mainly doing action gameplay. Bringing up a menu sometimes to use an item or use a skill doesn't suddenly make it turn-based. What is Kingdom Hearts turn-based because there's a command menu, and sometimes I have to scroll to the menu in order to use an ability. We made it. We did all that way just to get here.
Hallelujah.
I gotta go pee.